You will be tempted to buy your backpack first, but hold off. Instead, get the rest of your gear first. Get yourself prepared, and that way you'll know how much stuff you're carrying and the size, and you'll know it'll fit your backpack. Start off getting your sleeping system in place. That's your sleeping pad and your sleeping bag. The sleeping pad, you can either get inflatable, or you can use some kind of old school closed foam pad, and you can even take both. Just remember, every little ounce adds up. Sleeping bags come in all shapes and sizes, and I'll link to my video about how you choose a sleeping bag. But the most important thing is you're going to want to have a backpacking specific sleeping bag. A backpacking sleeping bag will pack smaller. It should be lighter. Of course, down is the preferred material because it does pack down so small while still being incredibly warm in cold nights. Next, look at your tent. A backpacking tent, we are focused on size and weight. And there's just so many options now, all sorts of futuristic materials, but you don't have to break the bank when you go looking for a backpacking tent. If you know you're backpacking in an area with a lot of trees, you can do hammock camping. Now, where I've backpacked, there hasn't been a lot of trees, plus I'm 6'4". It's hard to find 2 trees, even in a forest, that are properly spaced that can hold me. So I intend to just sleep on the ground when I'm backpacking. Now we haven't even talked about clothing. In clothing, we want to layer up. Layers are your friend when we are camping, and regardless of the type of camping we're doing. If you're starting your day hiking, you're going to want to start removing layers. I remember a friend who had hiked the Appalachian Trail. He told me, he says, one of the benefits of backpacking is if you find out you're feeling cold in the morning, you just get up, break camp, and start hiking. You will almost always warm up. You're going to want to invest in a backpacking stove. These are gas stoves. We don't have to worry about building a campfire, particularly in a place that has a burn ban. You can still almost always use a gas stove. And you're going to need a water bottle. Now, depending on where you're hiking in the world will determine how much water you need to carry. And I have a water calculator on my website, and I'll put a link to it in the description. If you have 2 liters, that will tend to get you to camp and allow you to drink along the way and have enough water to at least, for example, make your ramen noodles or Mountain House meal once you get to camp before you have to go get more water. Speaking of water, you will also need a way to make sure you can make water safe to drink. That clean mountain stream can still be full of stuff that can make you sick. So you're always going to want to filter it. And it's also important why we always have a single-walled steel container with us when we're camping. And it's not just to make coffee. Worst case scenario, you can boil water and make it safe to drink if your water filter fails or you lose it. All right, now that we've gotten all of our camping equipment, forgot one more thing. If you're going to be camping in bear country, you may have to carry a bear canister, so check on the regulations. A bear canister is a solid plastic jug with a lid that's very hard to open. And in a bear canister is where you put all your food and toiletries, anything that's going to smell, you put that in there. You're going to want to, and then again, you may or may not need a bear canister. It depends on where you're camping and what the regulations are. You want to make sure you're properly fitted for your backpack. If you have an REI or a Shields or some outdoor store, maybe like a Bass Pro, go up there and they should be able to help you get fitted for a backpack. I almost forgot, and that's a first aid kit. You're going to be tempted to take a whole frickin' trauma kit with you on trail. You do not need an extensive first aid kit on trail. You're going to need some Band-Aids, some athletic tape, like pain medicine, like a Tylenol or Advil. You're going to want some stomach medicine, some anti-diarrhea medicine, and of course, also another thing I almost forgot was your toiletry kit. You're going to have to go do your business in the woods. I tend to keep all of that near together in my pack, and so it's easily accessible. Now we'll get to our footwear. Whether you want a full hiking boot or Trail runners, that one is much more personal preference, but make sure you have traction on your shoes. Also, bring trekking poles. Some people say, I don't need trekking poles. Trekking poles are important for two reasons. One, they will help keep your balance. Second, trekking poles take the weight off your body and you can transfer that weight onto the trekking pole, so it makes it easier to carry your heavy pack. When you're going out for the first time, you don't have to go on a multi-day backpacking trip. You don't even have to go many miles. You could just go a half mile down a trail and pitch a tent.